Hello everyone, so we are from group 5 and in today's topic we want to talk about social media management, how media drive activism and civic engagement. Enjoy!
Okay, and for the first one, we're going to talk about what is media and what is social change. When we talk about media today, we're not just talking about TV or newspaper, but media includes platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, and all the ways that we can share about informations. And media is no longer just for news and entertainment. Nowadays, media allows us to share our opinions, connect with others who share the same values, and speak up about important issues or organize ourselves together to create change. And for social change means shift in society, fighting for justice, climate actions, equality, and building better communities. And social change happens when people see problem in society, talk about solutions, take action together and create lasting improvements. And here's what that important to remember that media is no longer just report change. It creates change and your phone, your social media or your voice, these are all powerful tools for making a difference. And then for the next is what we'll explore. We'll explore the three important areas. The first one is how media gives people a voice. Media empowers ordinary people, people like us, to share stories and opinion that can reach millions, and you don't need to be a celebrity or politician to be heard, but anyone with smartphone can make an impact. And then number two is how media turns posts into protests. We've seen this happen many times. Online conversation can quickly become real world movement for change. And what starts as a hashtag can mobilize thousands or even millions of people to take an action. And then number three is real example from around the world and Indonesia. From global movements to local campaign, we'll see how media drive change everywhere. This real example will show the concrete impact of strategies that media use. And why this matters? Why is it important for us? It's important for us because understanding media power help us use it effectively and responsibly. And then using media wisely means thinking about what we share. And then it's important to us because recognizing misinformation protect us and our communities. And then it's important to us because joining meaningful conversation can allows us to create positive change. And then in Indonesian context, we can look that we have the real example. It's the 17 plus 8 people demands focusing on transparency, reformation, and empathy. This is the voice of the people pushing for real accountability and progress. This is perfect example of a grassroots movement that using the power of media to demand change. So, let's begin this journey together and let's dive in.
We move to how media shapes what we care about. Media doesn't directly tell us to what to think, but it tells us what to think about. This is called agenda setting. When certain issues are repeatedly covered, they capture public attention, leading people to discuss them, take an action, and eventually push for change. It works like this. Media coverage leads to public attention, which sparks discussion, encourages action, and finally drives change. But there are also another process. It is framing. Framing is about how the media present an issue. The same event can be understood very differently depending on which details are included, which are left out, and how the story is told. For the example, During the One Piece flag protest in Indonesia, young protesters used the pirate flag as a creative form of expression. Yet the media didn't present it in one unified way. Some of them frame it as a positive, like a sign of a youth creativity and connection to global culture. But on the other hand, it is a challenge to national symbols or even as an act of provocation. This difference in framing shapes how the public interpreted the same protest. It shows that media not only highlights certain issues but also controls how those issues are perceived.
So let's talk about from online posts to real life action, how social media organize real change. In this slide, we want to talk about how social media helps people turns online posts into real life action. With social media, people can plan events and movement faster than ever before. So first is quick organization. Before social media, planning an event took a long time. People had to meet, print posters, and spread news by hand. Now, it only takes hours or days. One post or hashtag can reach 1,000 people quickly and bring them together of the same cause. And the second is real-time updates. Social media makes it easy to share updates right away. People can know where to meet, what time to come, or if there are any changes. This helps everyone stay connected and informed, no matter where they are. And the third is safety information. Social media is also used to share safety tips. People can post about their rights, legal helps, and what to do in case of emergency. This helps everyone keep safe during real life events. And fourth is adapt quickly. Sometimes plans change. Maybe the weather is bad or the location changes. With social media, people can share new information fast and everyone can adjust right away. This makes events more flexible and well organized. So there are some of uh, apps that you can use to post on online to real life action. People used to use X or Twitter and WhatsApp, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, and here's the example of it.
So for this slide, a single voice can feel lonely, but modern movements show us how individual voices unite to become a powerful, undeniable chorus for change. It starts with a common language like a hashtag #MeToo, hashtag Indonesia Girl, that connects millions under one message. This identity is strengthened by visual symbols, signs, flags, and images that show who you stand with. Together, this creates amplification. When thousands share the same message, it becomes impossible to ignore. And finally, it moves from online to offline. As digital identity becomes real world action at protests and events. In the end, it's simple. When we use the same symbols and hashtags, our individual voices become a powerful chorus for change. So here it is, the example I took for all of you. It's like from Indonesia Gelap, ditindas, dirindas, selalu dibongkar. It's impossible to ignore, right? Because it's so viral from this hashtag.
Now we're moving to the hashtags and symbols as new forms of identity. In the digital era, search symbols and hashtags have become powerful tools to create movements and collective identity. Let's start with common language. Hashtag like MeToo or Indonesia Gelap bring people together under a single message. Even without meeting physically, they share the same emotional and political language. Next, visual symbols such as flags, signs, or artwork help people visually express what they stand for. The symbols simplify complex messages into something immediately recognizable. Then there is amplification. When thousands of people repeat the same message, it becomes impossible to ignore. A single post can turn into a national conversation when it's shared widely enough. Then movements often go from online to offline. What starts as a digital identity, like a hashtag, a symbol, or a shared post, can lead to real world action in protests and social movements. We can see through the example. The first one is hashtag MeToo. It united survivors around the world and created a global movement for justice. The second one is hashtag Indonesia Gelap. It gathered Indonesians demanding transparency and accountability for the government. The third one is climate strike symbols. It's like painted hands or green logos visually unite young activists worldwide.
So, as you can see, this is how digital activism transforms into real world action through from posts to protests. So, modern movements use four key digital coordination mechanisms. The first one is event acceleration. So, this is reduces the organization time from weeks to hours through rapid digital announcements. The second, location coordination enables real-time sharing of meeting points and routes across cities, allowing protesters to adapt quickly. The third instruction distribution shares safety protocols and legal rights instantly with all participants, keeping everyone informed and protected. The fourth, adaptive response, allows real-time adjustments based on crowd-resourced information from the ground. The hashtag Rakyat Tagih Janji case study shows this in action. Indonesian student councils use Twitter and Instagram to coordinate simultaneous demonstrations across multiple cities. Look at the speed from day 1 until day 7. From one post to nationwide protest in just 1 week. This is how technology amplifies voices and turns posts into collective actions. The tools facilitate collaboration, but real people with genuine needs drive progress. What makes this noteworthy is the democratization of organizational authority. Thousands may now be mobilized without the need for established institutions, big finances, or traditional media access. A student with a smartphone may start a countrywide movement. However, this speed entails responsibility. The techniques that allow for fast mobilization may also be used to promote disinformation. That is why critical thinking and verification are so important, not only for consuming, but also for sharing knowledge. Digital activism has significantly altered the terrain of social movements. It is quicker, decentralized, and more accessible than ever before. But ultimately, technology is the only amplifier or the true power.
Okay, today, a single video or post from an ordinary citizen can start a chain reaction of accountability. It often begins with citizen journalism, direct, unfiltered reporting from the ground. This raw footage has immediate viral impact. Its emotional resonance and visual evidence spread across platforms in seconds. This public pressure forced mainstream media to pick up the story, validating the content, and reach a massive audience. We saw this in Indonesia, where citizens documented environmental harm. This is for the example that I took. This is the environmental harm from police to Gojek. Their viral videos and reports became leads for journalists and NGOs. This led directly to mainstream media investigations, powerful NGO campaigns, and crucially government policy reviews and corporate accountability. The path is clear. Citizen documentation creates evidence, public outreach amplifies it, and institutional pressure turns it into real world change.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the most powerful tools in this activity, which is hashtag and symbols. So at the first glance, a hashtag or flag protest symbols might seem small, just words or image or things, but in reality, they are much more than that. So they act as the identity marker of someone or something, like it signals that say I belong to this movement, so I stand for its cause. So when someone says or types Black Lives Matter or Rakyat Lagi Janji, they're not just commenting, they also join the community, the global community, the global conversation, and align themselves with a powerful demand and justice. So it's like making you, I'm the part of this. Like I see you, I stand with you. So uh, as the example cases here, we have the Rakyat Takezenji, like it, but like we have just discussed before, it brought together students, workers, and activists under unfight demands for government accountability. And also, sorry, the Pestapora boycott, some untitled artists, informal activists, and cultural workers against unethical corporate sponsorship, which is, as we know, Freeport. And the last one we have the One Piece flag symbol, like we have discussed before. It creates a shared identity between youth protester and global popular culture. So it's strengthening the movement of coalitions. So here I also say that symbols and hashtags transform individual voices into collective action and creating the critical mass needed for social change. Next, about the hashtag, sorry, about the challenges or misinformation, also bias. The challenges here, just like we have discussed in a recent presentation about misinformation, disinformation, and bias. So, I would like to say about the misinformation and disinformation. So, it's, as we know, false or misleading content spread rapidly on social media platforms. Like it's undermining public debate and hindering effective responses. And also there is a media bias. So its selection, framing, and amplification biases distort who voices are heard and which issues gain traction. So then, in Indonesian context, some media that make it biased. Why it biased? It's viral but unverified protest clips sparkling counter narratives, and its misleading claims about Pestapora sponsor before verification, like we have discussed before, and selective coverage of protests emphasizing violence over message and amplification of government statement without critical analysis. It sometimes it happen, guys, in our community. And So what we can do, we have some mitigation strategies. Yeah, we also have discussed it over and over. Like the first, we can do the quick fast checking by rapid verification system and partnership with independent fast fact checkers. And then we can do the platform transparency. So the platform should have some clear algorithm, content moderation policies, and advertising discourse, and also media literary campaigns. So educational initiatives to help citizens critically evaluate the information. And also the last one about the newsroom standards. So we have to clear protocols for verifying under generated content before publication. So uh, we have to seek diverse perspective, like follow accounts and use source that challenges our view by doing those. And finally, we have to be responsible with our own files. So before we start to share our presentation, oh sorry, our our opinion or the media said about something, we have to think first, do the verify. And also because in this digital apps, every share, like or comment can shapes the narrative for better or for worse. So be careful.
So as you can see, this is how digital activism transform into real-world action through from post to protest.